I'm Jen, and this is Charlie as well, who's here. And we're going to be doing a session on how language and communication develops in babies. And we've sort of adapted it so it works for Zoom. This is what we're going to talk about. I'll have a little bit of an introduction. I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of how babies learn to communicate. We'll go through some ages and stages, go through some top tips, and think a little bit about using some signing and songs at home, and maybe give you some kind of practical activities that you can use. So just to introduce myself, I'm Jen. I'm a speech and language therapist. I'm based quite locally to Bell House in East Dulwich. So yeah, and I think I do lots of workshops for parents on sort of supporting communication, because I think since I have my own children, I realised the advice that speech therapists have is kind of relevant for all children in terms of developing good communication skills. So I'll let Charlie say hi as well.
So hello everyone, my name's Charlie and I'm from Etty Betty Baby Signs. So I teach baby sign language to babies, toddlers, preschoolers, and also to adults as well. So I go in and teach teachers, and I teach parents of children as well. My background is my sister was born profoundly deaf, so sign language has always been a part of my life. And then it was after having my first daughter, I realised how incredible British Sign Language can be for all babies. So not just those who are deaf, but for all babies as a way of communicating with us before they can talk, and also to help their language development. So I'm going to be teaching you a few simple signs and a few fun songs and a story today.
How communication develops. And I think it's really important to kind of acknowledge how amazing babies are and how much they learn in their first year. So way before they start saying any first words, they're learning so many communication skills. And actually, it's a really funny one, because a lot of the time we think, how do babies learn to talk? And I think there's a lot of sort of stereotypes and sort of misinformation around this, where people think you need to be getting flashcards, you need to be doing really structured things to help your little one learn to talk. Now, you don't need to teach your baby how to talk. They just learn it naturally. Most babies learn how to communicate, how to talk very naturally. But there's definitely things that you can do to support their communication. Oh, hello. Hello. Just on cue on that word communication. So thinking really, I really like this analogy of the kind of communication tree. And I think hopefully parents find it reassuring to think, gosh, wow, we're already doing a lot of these things. So before your child's a year, they're sort of, you're really focusing on what are the roots of the tree. So very early skills. So all these things that are really, really important for language, like sharing attention, looking at the same thing, eye contact, facial expressions, all of these things that sometimes just feel like, oh, we do that all the time, but it's so helpful to know these things are really important for your child to be able to have time doing to enable their communication. And then as they get older, you move up towards the trunk of the tree, and that relates to understanding of language and the ability to draw meaning, not just from words, but from things like gestures. So quite early, you might notice that your little one is understanding gestures. You put your hands out and they understand that means up, or that means being picked up. So being able to draw meaning from objects as well. So just seeing the bottle or, you know, nappies and understanding what that routine means. All of these things are so important for developing language. As you move further up the tree, you're thinking about sort of words when they appear, or gestures. And then at the very top, it's the leaves represent the speech and the sounds that your child's making. Now, what I think is really important is to think about interaction is what leads to language. And that's the starting point for language development. So natural when you think about holding a baby, you're looking at each other, all of that face to face, that is exactly what they need to develop their language skills. And without that interaction, children won't develop language. And I think they acquire language from those many interactions that they have with parents and siblings and grandparents and other sorts of people as well who are around them at nursery. And actually that's how babies can learn more than one language simultaneously. Lots of people say, you know, oh, I want my child to learn, you know, if dad speaks French and mum speaks English, I want them to learn them both. Do I need to teach them those languages? And absolutely not. You can just talk in the language that you feel most confident in, and that's how your baby's going to learn, because they learn through the interactions with you. You don't need to sort of teach them what the words mean. So every time they're interacting with you, that engagement, eye contact, smiling, laughing, showing and sharing expressions, those are the absolute starting points of communication.
What is signing? Signing that I teach, they're British Sign Language signs, so it's a proper recognised language, and all we do is take signs from that language and take the ones that are most useful and helpful to babies. So the reasons it's threefold, the way that it's absolutely fascinating with babies, is that it can help the babies to understand us better. So for example, if you were to say the word banana, your little one might think, oh, I recognize those things, but they haven't yet connected that word, those sounds, with the object. Then as soon as you do the sign, this is the thing that's great about British Sign Language, you just do the action of the word you're saying. So our sign for banana is this, like we're peeling a banana. So they hear the word banana and think, I recognize those sounds. And then you do the sign with it, banana. In their head, they'll think, oh, I recognize that. I've seen mummy, daddy, grandma, whoever it is, do that with a banana. So if you think of it as an extra piece of the puzzle for them building up communication, it's a visual clue to what you're saying, an extra piece of the puzzle so they can put it together. Those sounds together, that word means banana, and I've seen mummy and daddy open that. It also, as well as them understanding us, it helps us understand them, because the more you do the signs, they will start copying you and then signing back to you independently. So it can really bridge that gap between them being, from about 6 months, babies start to understand their wants and their needs. And yet it's still quite a long time until they're able to speak. So this can really nicely bridge that gap in between them knowing what they want and being able to tell you. They can tell you through gestures, tell you through signs, and all the research shows that babies who can pick up some gestures and signs are far less frustrated, and it can help cut down on tears and tantrums, because that's all just about frustration. And all the while that you're understanding them better and they're understanding you better, it's helping to build up their language and communication skills. So how does that work? So with signing, the reason it's so brilliant is that you'll find, and I'll show you some songs in a moment, because you're thinking about the words and thinking about the signs, it tends to help us slow down. And this really helps babies to understand and start to pick up words from us, because you'll be thinking, when you first start signing, it's a bit like patting your head, rubbing your tummy. You're thinking about your hands, so automatically you slow down your voice, and that's really important. It also helps you to emphasize key words that they're going to need. So for example, instead of saying, do you want a banana? You'll probably find yourself saying, do you want a banana? A banana. You're emphasizing that key word for them. And what we teach also in signing is how important, just like with language, repetition is. So for getting started signing, we'd say, do you want a banana? Do you want a banana? Hand them a banana. Oh, you've got a banana. Are you enjoying your banana? The more we repeat it, the more they're going to understand the sign, learn the sign, and also learn the words. So it's slowing down, it's emphasizing, it's repeating the words, and also it's just fun. Babies really enjoy the visual. You might have noticed, you do it yourself, when I've been out and about and I spot some people signing, if you look around, there's normally some other adults watching them sign. People are fascinated by the movement and gestures of sign language. Adults are, and babies are the same. So it just makes communication a bit more fun for them. And as well as helping with their language, it's the whole communication package. So it's not just about them learning the words. There are some things in sign language that are really important that we're teaching our babies. First of all, it's that connection. They're looking at you, you're looking at them, and we're encouraging eye contact. We're encouraging them to look at us whilst we're signing. And really importantly, facial expressions and body language. You've probably heard or read before that the words we say when we're communicating make up, I think it's about 7% of what people understand of us. The big percentage are our facial expressions, body language, and the vocal, so our pitch and tone and all those sorts of things. So I'm just going to give you a quick example now to show you how brilliant sign language is in for teaching these things. So with sign language, like I said, it's very intuitive and you're just doing the action of the word. So if you guys were to guess the sign for cold, what would you do? Now, I can't see most of you, so I'm not judging you. So lose your inhibitions and just have a quick guess. I'll give you a moment to guess the sign for cold. So some of you might have done this. Cold. That's our sign for cold. It's just as though you're acting being cold. So if you were really, really cold, what would you do? Give you a moment. We just exaggerate it. We'd go, cold, cold. So as you can see there, I'm using my body language. You're hunching up your shoulders, you're pulling your arms in. When you were really cold, you were probably really exaggerating how much you were shaking. It makes your face want to scrunch up as well. So you're showing that the feeling of cold is an unpleasant thing. So we're using our facial expressions. And also you probably heard it made my voice quiver a bit. Cold, cold. So these are all really important, not just words we're teaching our babies, but important communication skills with language and with our voice. This is a little sign story we're going to do. It's sort of our own version of the story Sometimes, written by Emma Dodd. You might have seen it. It's about a mummy elephant and a baby elephant, and it's really quite sweet. And the point of doing it is that we're going to learn 5 key signs for you to take away with you. So that's going to be play, milk, bath, food, and my favorite, I love you. So I'll take you through the story and break down those signs for you. And it's just a fun one to do. The important thing to remember, we do this story because it's fun and it's something that we can learn together. But it's when you do these signs in situ that your baby will really start to understand. So it's brilliant now that we're going to show them the sign for milk, but it's really when you do the sign for milk and then give them their milk and do the sign whilst they're having their milk that they will learn. So at the age your babies are, they will learn signs from you. They could watch me all day, but they're not going to learn them in the right way because they learn from you whilst you're doing those routine things. So let's start with the sign for sometimes. So if you can rub your thumb against your fingers, sometimes, that's it. So we're going to say, sometimes you, and we'll point to our babies, sometimes you want to play. So play is flat hands and they go in circles in and out. So they're going in opposite directions, in and out, in and out. And like I said, we're really teaching them about facial expressions with signing. So it's not just play, it's play. We're showing them it's something really fun. Play. So to help them start to associate this sign with having fun, I hope your little ones can see this. If you can do the sign for play, and can they see some bubbles from my very happy frog? Play. Very good. So that's our sign for play. And then we repeat sometimes. Sometimes you, and we point at our babies, want milk. So the sign for milk is opening and closing your hand. So if you just think of it like you're squeezing a cow's udder for milk. And this is the same sign for whether you're breastfeeding or bottle feeding. It's milk, opening, closing. And this is brilliant because it's a really nice, easy action. And we tend to see this being a baby's first sign. Not always, but it is usually this one, milk. So for milk, I know they're not having this milk yet, but we've got a milk carton. So you can do it in a play thing with them. Get a milk carton and fill it with some rice and get them to give it a shake so they can hear it, or give them their baby bottle if they've got it and let them have a play with that. So they start to associate that sign for milk with having a feed and having a play, milk. And then we're going to do our sometimes sign again. Sometimes you, point to our babies, want, this is my least favorite sign in the whole of sign language, a bath. Can you see me? It's so funny and it's so silly, but children react really well to it because it is quite good fun. So it's like you've got a towel and you're rubbing your back dry after a bath. So if you want to do the story with them in an interactive way, you can get one of these sensory scarves or a muslin or anything like that, and we can just pretend that we're giving our babies a bath, and we'll give them a little bit of a tickle and a little bit of a wash down and pretend it's a flannel for bath. So we do our sign, bath, and then pretend that we're giving them a little bit of a wash and a little bit of a play. And then we're back to our sometimes. Last one, we say sometimes you want, and I've got some delicious, if you can see this, a piece of cake for food. Oh, Maisie saw the bath sign and went off to the bathroom. Well done. That's amazing understanding. Very good. Impressive. Brilliant. So I've got our sign for food. Our sign for food is tapping our thumb and fingers together, and you tap on your mouth, just on your chin. Food. So again, that's really good for babies. That's how they're eating. They'll think, oh, that's how I eat, and associate it with meal times. Food. And then we're going to shake our head and say But no matter what you say or do, and we make a D shape, do, it makes no difference because, tapping on our shoulder, because I, point to yourself, love, hands across your chest, you. That was no matter what you say or do, it makes no difference because I love you. So let's have a go at doing that all the way through. I'm not expecting you to learn all the signs. Remember, with sign language, it is a recognized language. I wouldn't show you this in Spanish and then say, okay, say it back to me in Spanish. It's exactly the same principle with sign language. If you just get one or two of the signs, then that's really, really amazing. But let's give it a go. So we start off by asking everyone if they're ready. Ready, ready, ready. And we say, sometimes you want to play. Good. Sometimes you want milk. Sometimes you want a bath. I bet everybody remembered that one. Bath. Sometimes you want food. But no matter what you say or do, it makes no difference because I love you. Well done, everyone. Well done. That's